Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new show. Today is the day of love, the day of Valentine's, but it's not just a regular day because on Valentine's we need something to up the spirit, spritz the spirit up. And what better to actually lift your spirit some with some cognac, right? They say French people know the language of love. They also know how to make amazing spirit. Today, I wanted to bring a spirit to you, a brand that just migrated on the US market, and I'm hearing a lot of buzz about it. And I wanted everyone to jump in and see exactly what they're about, what are they bringing. So, if you're a cognac lover, if you love the history of cognac and want now the 2024 new bottle to actually grab on it on a shelf, I want you to actually take your time and listen to this, fellas. If you're watching it now or watching it after work, this is your opportunity to know more about Martingal Cognac. That's the cognac now. Beautiful bottle. I brought in the people behind the brand. I got Andrew and I got Guillaume, and they'll be here to actually tell us more about it. Andrew and Guillaume, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Um, Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate y'all being here. Martigal, if I'm saying it right, Martigal Cognac.
Yeah.
How did the name came about? That's the first question has been on my mind the whole time I've seen it, because I know the story behind Martingal, but I was like, how did he came up? So either Andrew or Guillaume, I will before you introduce yourself, I want to know the name. Then I will let people know your background.
I'll start, Andy, if that's okay with you.
Of course.
So martingale, it's actually it's a French word originally. It's used in English, but few people use it. Maybe the gamblers among the people here would know the name. Martingale or martingale in English is a sure way to win at something. And usually it comes with a certain level of persistence and resilience. So if you find your martingale, and sometimes it takes a lot of time in life to find your martingale, then you found your way through life to succeed. It's used in a roulette, for example. The martingale in roulette is about picking a number. Every time you pick the number, you bet. If you lose, you double your bet, and ultimately you're
Right.
going to win. And if casinos see you doing that, they will stop you because that actually works, although you need very deep
Yeah.
pockets. And so that's a name that resonates a lot for me, my family story, and etc. But maybe we'll talk about that later. So that's where the name comes from.
All right. Now that that's out of my head because he been hunting me the whole time. Guillaume, Andrew, who are you? How did you end up having your own brand today called Martingal Cognac? Introduce yourself to the
That's you as well,
folks.
Guillaume. That's you too.
Yeah, so I'll start again, and then I'll obviously let you speak for yourself, Andy. So I'm Guillaume Thomas. My family is one of the largest producers of cognac. We've been making cognac, actually, we think since the mid 19th century, but I don't really have proof of it. So where my family makes cognac today, we've started that just after the First World War, and we've been making cognac for more than a century there. We have our own vineyards, our own distillery, our own warehouses, and our own aged inventory. But for that long a time, almost a century, we have sold our cognac to the most famous brands of the industry, and we are one of the most renowned, but not that known outside of the cognac area, a family making cognac. I grew up in cognac, very close to my grandfather, who really built the business after the Second World War. Um, and I had all my life thought about maybe doing that, maybe working with my cousin who is running the family operations. But I only decided to do that last year. I actually spent 25 years of my career in the corporate world in a large company called Pernod Ricard, which owns a few famous brands like
We
Jameson,
know
Absolut,
Pernod.
Glenlivet. Yes, great company. I loved all my time there. I still have a lot of friends there. But look, maybe it was the stupidest idea of my life, or maybe the most exciting one. But I decided to create that brand with my family last year. And so I left fairly successful corporate career last year to start the entrepreneurial route, and as a tribute to my grandfather and for my family and for many personal reasons, I decided to set up that project. So I left my corporate career a year ago, and the most important thing in any venture is to find the right people. And I was very fortunate in my career at Pernod Ricard to meet Mr. Andy Ware. I approached him, we had a few talks, and he was crazy enough to jump on board and become a co-founder with my family of this Martingal project. Very blessed to have him, and I will probably let him introduce himself now.
Well, thank you,
Mr. Andy. Tell us a little bit about you. You seem to be a shy man, so
this is where I come at you with a funny accent where you didn't expect this at all. I was extremely surprised and honoured when Guillaume approached me to take on this opportunity. I met Guillaume when I was working at Pernod Ricard. I've spent about 15 or so years working in this wonderful industry. Prior to that, I had worked in tourism and PR, and before that, I was an actor. So this is all very improbable for me, from where I grew up and where I now find myself, and just in the steps that I've taken in my career. So I'm extremely honoured to be partnering with this family that has 100 years experience in making this great product. My background is primarily in this business in Scotch. I worked on the Balvenie brand for a long time.
One of my favorite single malts.
Yeah, it's a great product, and William Grant & Sons was a great company to work for, as was Pernod Ricard. Then I worked on Aberlour, and then I had a stint in the wonderful world of Mexican brands, and then found myself here. And it's so exciting to be part of something from the beginning. I mean, our beginning is 100 years ago, but the beginning of this stage in this great story, to be able to have the first conversations and be part of selling the first bottle and telling people, marketing people often sit in rooms and come up with stories. I'm not saying I've had to do that, but many occasions people have to create these great, rich, wonderful stories that consumers buy into when they buy a product. I knew right away when the first time I set foot in cognac in Guillaume's home and on the vineyards and in the distillery, that what we had here was something, truly authentic. And, 100 years of history and no product. They'd never released a brand. And I knew that I would be able to be part of releasing the first ever product from this family domain after 100 years. And that got me so motivated and so excited. And here we are. So it's the hardest I've ever worked in my life, but it's the most fun I've ever had at work.
That is so cool. And it's good that you both come from the industry, right? Because coming from the industry is kind of a big deal, because you understand the ins and out of how the industry works, almost like a little bit where the corpses are buried. So you know at least what to do and what not to do. And it is a testament to what you guys know, because so many brands start in the industry, and I call them and I say, hey, I want to interview, I want to talk to you. And they go, we're not ready for that. We're not sure if we want to talk about, maybe because they haven't mastered how to tell the story of what they're putting out there. Now I have to talk about the product itself. Thomas, it looks like your family, La Maison Thomas, have been doing this for a long time, right? You decide to come in. What does family say? Are they ready? Are you still contract distilling? Or did you guys say, we keeping all our stock now and we are going to start producing Martingal and whatever brand we have? I want to learn a little more about that.
So the first point is that my family actually have, and my cousin who's really running the operations now, they wanted to do that for a long time. And it took us a long time to be ready from a financial point of view, from a maturity in terms of all the inventory we have, to have the right, I would say, amount and quality of inventory as well to launch a cognac, which is obviously an aged product, and to have the right qualities and all of that. So we've been talking about that for years, but it really accelerated in the last 2 3. And as I said, I left last year.
Yeah,
sorry.
His internet is your internet is lagging a little bit.
That's France. That's France for you. Sorry about that.
That's friends. Friends sending it.
So
No, go
my
ahead. Go ahead.
family is, I was saying my family will continue to work with the large brands of the industry, and in particular Martel. We have a long-standing relationship with that great brand. But we have also set aside some of our own vineyards and some of our own distillate and of our own aged inventory to create that product. And we'll talk maybe a bit more about the product itself later, but we wanted to bring something new as well. I didn't want to emulate what exists in the market. I think cognac is amazing. I've always loved cognac. I was very close to my grandfather who really built the appellation as well and did a lot of work to make cognac what it is today. And I think we have something to bring to the market which is different, interesting, and hopefully relevant to today's consumers. So that's how this all came about.
Okay, so something new, something different on the market. Let's talk about how you coming up with this product now. Now, for the average person that doesn't understand, for it to be called cognac, grapes have to be unique grapes from the region of Cognac, distilled, matured, and bottled in the region of Cognac, and before being exported for you to be able to call it cognac. Those are the basics. I realized on your product that there's something that is missing from the normal things we see. Normal appellation of cognac would tell you if they're VS, VSOP, XO, Ordage, Grand Champagne, Petit Champagne, whatever it is that they have on it. I realized that this bottle just say cognac. So that was the first thing I've realized. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I want to know why there isn't any of those on, kind of indicating maturity. So tell us a little bit more about the process of making this one, and why is it that there is no VSOP, XO on this bottle?
Yes, for sure. So even though we made cognac for more than a century, and I think we can make a great cognac, of course, but we still needed to come up with something that, again, would be slightly different and interesting and hopefully relevant for today's consumers, whether you love cognac or don't know cognac yet. And it took us really 2 years of experimentation with my cousin until we finally found what we wanted to bring to the market. And I think cognac has lived in a very narrow type of niche in terms of how it presents itself from a packaging point of view. Thank you for showing the bottle. From a taste point of view as well. I mean, people when they see a cognac, they expect it to be very dark, very rich, very complex, very powerful, sometimes very sweet, almost overbearing. And some of those characteristics of cognacs are great. And some people love it. And I have obviously no problem with that. But I think cognac was maybe not revealing itself for what it can be. And cognac can be incredibly fragrant. I love the word fragrance. I love the word aromatic. So cognac is very aromatic and fragrant because it comes from great wine, as you very rightly said, from a small area in France that's distilled and aged in oak. So cognac is very fragrant, but cognac can be also fresh and elegant and refined. It doesn't need to be dark and heavy. And so we've combined the sub-area. Cognac is divided in 6 sub-areas. We've combined our eau de vie from the top 4 sub-areas, which together create that blend, which is very fragrant, but also very smooth, very refined, very elegant, very fresh, and brings a very different taste profile and experience. We don't add anything to our cognacs. We don't add wood. We don't add coloring or sugar. We try to keep it as natural as we can. And finally, to your question on age, so as you said, cognac is very strict. So you can't be called a cognac if you're not aged for a minimum of 2 years. So any cognac is going to be 2 years and above. And then, as you said, there are different ages that are called by different names. Very special is 2 years. Very special old pale, VSOP, is 4 years old. And then the next is XO, which is 10 years old. And that in itself, for me, creates a huge gap, because between a 4 years old product and a 10 years old product, you're going to have a very, there's 6 years of maturation that are going to bring some things that are very different. And I think Cognac changed the regulation actually a bit more than 10 years ago, where an XO used to be 6 years old. Now it's 10 years old. And I think it opened the gap, because between VSOP and XO, there you can create fantastic products that are not going to be as heavy and intense as an XO, but are going to have a bit more substance probably than a VSOP. And we wanted to go straight at that niche. So we are neither a VSOP nor an XO. We are Martingal Cognac, but technically we are between a VSOP and an XO.
Yeah, and I would build on that, Jack. I mean, it's a pretty bit of a gamble, right, for us to. And don't get me wrong, every day we have conversations to explain this, right? So our product is between 5 and 7 years old. We can't say that on the label. It's difficult to say that anywhere we write it. And I think I learned a lot in Scotch. You know, I was working in Scotch around the time there was a proliferation of non-age statement whiskies. And I think there was a lot of pushback to that at the time, because people don't like to do things the way, in new ways. They like to keep doing things the way they've always been done, particularly Scottish people and maybe even French people. So when you kind of take a step out of when you start colouring outside the lines, people start to get uncomfortable. But I think our product is for people who have the attention span and the curiosity to have that conversation, to listen to what Guillaume just said about the choice that we made. You know, in France, they talk about the apogee, the apex of the liquid. And I always think good spirits are a bit like fruit on a tree, right? Their time when they ripen is going to be different. Like wine, right? It's going to ripen at a certain time. And the blend that Amaury, Guillaume's cousin and our co-founder, has created here, I mean, the first time I tasted it, I was blown away. The balance, the harmony, the freshness, it's so elegant. And to me, I couldn't imagine any other age. And so we decided that this was going to be our martingale. We're going to go with this as our strategy. And yes, it's going to require a lot of this commentary and us to editorialize and to hand sell it. But I think there are enough people out there who have that level of curiosity and that attention span to hear that. And I have to say, since we launched in October, the feedback on the liquid has been overwhelmingly positive. And so I look back and I don't question any of the decisions we made. It just takes a little bit longer to explain it. But I think that what Amaury has created is one of the finest spirits I've ever tasted.
And that brings us back to understanding, knowing the story behind, because the average cognac drinker, or I'll say, I'm going to talk about the American market, is always looking for those signs, right? I know people that say, I only drink XO, or I only drink VSOP or whatnot. So for you to actually go beyond the label and understand what you're drinking is a big deal. I mean, look at the design of this bottle. It's attractive. I mean, ça a de la finesse, like French people say. It has some class, a little finesse to it. Very attractive, wooden cork on top. And you are breaking a lot of stereotype. You are breaking the stereotype of the design of the bottle. There's nothing corny here. It's very simplistic. You're breaking the design of, they're breaking the stereotype of the color, like Guillaume mentioned. Color is a big deal. Everybody wants that brown looking color when it comes to their cognac. And obviously, if you never been in the wine or cognac or Armagnac area, you will not know that there is the eau de vie doesn't need to be that dark. Almost is suspicious sometimes how dark it is. If you're a real consumer, you're like, you sure you didn't add anything to this? Because it's a little almost too dark when you think of it. So I'm the most, for me, immediately as a consumer point of view, my vantage is beautiful bottle design. I would just have the bottle just for the fun of it. So I think you guys did not miss on that. Breaking stereotypes are hard. They're hard. Not a lot of people follow the trend immediately, but I'm pretty sure after your release, chances are in a year from now, I'm going to see people that will forgo of that VSOP and XO just to release this, to follow your lead, because you're doing something different. It happens in bourbon, happen in Scotch, happen in every spirit where somebody go, taste my product. Don't go with the stereotype of what it should look like. Just taste it. In tequila, same thing. It happens quite often.
Yeah.
So
I think we're breaking through the stereotypes inside cognac. And you said people say I only drink XO or I only drink etc. double XO, whatever. We've heard people saying now this is all I drink is Martingale. I only drink Martingale, and that's a hard thing to achieve. We haven't got there yet, but that's certainly an ambition. But I think what we're even more proud of is the fact that, you know, we all know a lot of people who drink whiskey, and I think we're a cognac for people who have drunk cognac for a long time and maybe have gone over into mezcal, tequila, whiskey, whatever, and we're an opportunity for them to come back to the familiarity of what cognac is. But we're also for people who are really curious about premium spirits and, you know, craft spirits, and we've seen a lot of people who have told us, I have never tried cognac. Like I never thought I would ever. I just never thought it was for me. And they try Martingale and they're like, this is as good as any whiskey I've tried. And so I think we've kind of opened up, or what we're trying to do is open up the broad consumption pool of cognac and get people to actually give it a look. I always tell people, and this is coming from someone who's worked in whiskey most of my career, you know, if you've got a bowl of grapes on the table or a bowl of grain on the table, it's not difficult to figure out which one has more flavour. And so, you know, you've got a grape-based product versus and Guillaume loves this. He loves to hear the Scotsman talking about cognac over whiskey. But, you know, you have a bowl of grape. The grape-based products are going to produce something that wine lovers are going to like, but it also has the structure of a whiskey. So whiskey drinkers are going to be very familiar with the mouthfeel and the structure of it. And so for me, it's really the best of both worlds. It's everything we love about whiskey and everything we love about wine combined into one product.
All right. Two people from two different parts of the world. I think it's time to put it to the test. Beautiful bottle cork. Like I say, I'm loving this cork here. You guys that are following us on all media are now get to see me for the first time. I did not want to open this till I have an interview with you because I wanted people to get an authentic, right, experience of me nosing this. Now, speaking of fragrance, okay, I'm going to say something weird. Prepare yourself. This is like a hug from your mom. That's how it feels. The nose here is quite interesting because he actually knows more like an eau de vie, like a real, like eau de vie. Not even like there is no oakiness coming up on top at all. It's all the eau de vie kind of beauty that is coming up. Oh, it's like rose water, beautiful, very attractive on the nose. All right, this is the moment of truth.
You're going in.
Oh my God. Wow. There's a saying. When we were a kid, we had this kid chant that we do. Quel fruit délicieux, j'en voudrais bien deux. That's literally what I feel. I see what you're saying now. The sweetness that hit your lips immediately, the front of your palate, it attracts you in with that sweetness, juicy bursting, a burst of flavor right away. Mid palate stayed stable. You can still taste all the oiliness almost of the spirit, and that finish for the Scotch and whiskey lover. That finish reminds me of that love where you get that warmness on your chest with a little bit of that lingering, almost light white pepper-ish. That's where the oak comes in play. This is balanced. That's the word. It's balanced and refined. If you're a true cognac lover, this is gonna take you on a journey. It's gonna drive you almost crazy. Like, okay, this may not be right. If you're a whiskey lover, I will tell you right now, this is the best dessert you ever have in your life. This is the best digestif you'll ever have in your life. It has the perfect amount of sweetness, almost not too sweet. Perfect balance of sweetness, stays in the middle palate, oakiness come down. You feel every part of the spirit. I hate to tell you, folks, you made a fan out of me. You
Thank
changed
you,
my. I
Jack.
will tell you right now because I was skeptical. There is no XO VSOP on that. I was skeptical. I just didn't know what to expect. But you guys, I can tell that you've worked in the industry. You know what you did here. This is the
Yeah, actually, and
cognac for
my
connoisseurs. You
cousin.
know exactly what you're drinking here.
I think it appeals to both connoisseurs, and thank you very much, Jack. Thank you for saying all those things, and I'm glad that because you picked up, and guys, this is not scripted, right? So
No,
this
no,
is,
we are live
and
right now. So
you played it back the way I would love people to enjoy it. I mean, you tasted it for yourself, and you found things. Obviously, you're very experienced in the spirits, but you found things that I would love consumers to find, and that's the best testimony that you can have when you put something on the market. And what was your dream that people would feel it because you feel it yourself when consumers or influencers or people who know the industry feel it. I mean, it's a joy, and I'm going to make sure that my cousin, who actually, to be completely honest, I gave him a brief of what I thought we would need to do, but I'm not technical myself. I'm a business guy. My cousin is really the kind of master behind all of that, and I will make sure that he watches that and hears your comments because
oh
I think he did a
my God.
fantastic job here.
Say no, say. I have to go in French so he can hear what I'm trying to say here and understand. Il y a un certain niveau de cadence. Si ceci était une danse, c'est comme ça a un rythme. Ça commence au début, on est au milieu, et à la fin, c'est parfait. It's like a dance on your palate. It start very slowly and it starts shaking you. And when you have it, it's almost like you have to shake yourself a little bit just to get through it. I I will tell you right now, I'll be 100% honest. I've never had cognac like this. No one
Thank you.
has made cognac for me to taste like this. And I have about 15 bottle of different cognac sitting on my shelf. I'm more of an Armagnac guy because cognac became a little boring for me. So I actually drink Armagnac because it has more of what I'm looking for as more of a whiskey lover, as more of somebody who had into single malt and into bourbon. I just go into Armagnac. I host a lot of classes, and when people ask me about cognac, I say, "Oh, cognac is boring now. Let's have some Armagnac." But I would take this to any class to remind
Thank
people
you. Yeah.
what are the basis of what, and I'm making this clear. A good cognac should be right. A good cognac should be. And no offense to any brand that is making anything out there, but I feel sometimes like no one is paying attention to almost create a little bit of that nuance in the taste. Take me on a journey. And that's what Martingal is doing. It's taking me on a journey. Like I will sit down and have a whole is a conversational cognac. I'll have a whole long conversation having a dram or two or three of this cognac because my mouth is still watering from this. And I wish they were paying me to say this, but they're not. I'm literally just telling
We
you
don't have
guys.
enough money to do that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I wish they were paying me to say this, but no, they're not. I really, 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 I'm seeing exactly what is happening in this cognac. I see now what you guys, the intent of what you do. It's hard to capture somebody's intent by just drinking the product. This is a clear as day. I know exactly what you meant to do in this.
Yeah,
So,
thank you, Jack.
congratulations. This is a
Thank you.
fantastic product.
Thank you. In fairness to the maybe more traditional cognacs, the obsession they've had is for consumers to always experience the same thing, right? Year after year, because cognac is a blend and it comes from nature and there are variations. And so the obsession of the big brands is to keep a consistent taste so that consumers would always find what they like. But the consequence of that is that you have to do things in doing that will probably tame a bit what a great cognac can be, and that are maybe going to make it less interesting. And we wanted to tell a fresher story about how great cognac can be. And well, I'm glad you picked it up. Thank you.
It is fresh. It is fresh is the word. It is fresh. So now, and I have to remind folks, this is a 40% ABV, by the way, but it doesn't drink like it. It does not drink like 40%. It drink a little bit higher because of all the notes you expect to have something more on a cask strength cognac, but it's not. It's really, really, really. You have. I like to call it the bing bang boom on your palate. It's punching your palate way. It's punching way above its weight. Now, cognac. You release this product. I have to ask, how is it going on the US market, right? So the cognac is here now, is on the obviously on the market now. How's distribution happening, right? How are you distributing on the US market?
So we have a pretty experienced team, and we have a team that has a pretty good background in spirits. We have a couple more whiskey people in the team, and I'd be lying if I didn't say that we're building this brand very much with some of the tactics that we deployed in whiskey in mind. So we have a great team. We're really mostly in New York and Los Angeles at the moment, but the goal is to kind of expand from there. We've had some really great success in some iconic accounts. We're in most of the bigger independent retailers that you would expect us to be in. We're also in we're in the Edition, the One Hotel, Soho House, Blue Hill at Stone Barns. And if you go on our website, actually, we have just very transparent. We have a full list of everywhere you can find us. We're available for sale on Reserve Bar online, which has been really successful for us. We just launched on Flavier and Caskers. So we're really pleased with how it's going. The market at the moment is interesting. It's in a period of transition.
Yeah, the market is in a weird space right now.
Yeah. In the
this is the moment where you start a brand, and if you're doing a little bit of dent in the market, you should be okay. The economy is not where it needs to be. Things are still a little weird right now. But if you're still seeing, I think really this is the market for just more education. As things get better, clients can actually jump on the.
Well, I think in many ways we're kind of punching above our weight in terms of what we've been able to achieve in this market. I should also say we have a couple of interesting investors. We have a really interesting investor group. Obviously, Guillaume's family, the Thomas family, are our biggest investors. But we have about 14 other investors who span from people we've worked with, executives at large companies who have moved on, friends of ours. And then we have a couple of friends who came to us through mutual friends. One is Derek Jones, DJ D Nice.
Okay, DJ D Nice. Okay.
He's a very engaged investor. It's been wonderful. And the other is his friend, a guy called Donnie Wahlberg, who
the brother of Mark Wahlberg.
Oh yeah, or he would say that Mark would say he's Donnie's brother, and they're buddies. And what I love about them both. Oh, sorry, my Google thing's trying to look up Donnie Wahlberg on my thing. The great thing. Oh, I've now got a Donnie Wahlberg YouTube video playing on my Google Assistant. I didn't ask it. But I think what's great is that they're buddies, and that we met with Derek, told him about it. He's like, I'm in. This is the most exciting thing I've seen. He tasted it. He loved the bottle. And then he said, you know who would love this is Donnie. And so next thing we've got Donnie and Dee, and they have very, very loyal fan bases. And so
correct.
To their very disparate fan bases.
That is free. That is really a big marketing tool there for you. But one of the things I will be honest with y'all, Donnie is a celebrity. DJ is also a celebrity. One of the reasons why I actually saw them make a live on Instagram about Martingal, but I like to call it, maybe it's my journalist or the educator integrity. I do not trust any celebrity to tell me anything about a spirit. So when I was given the opportunity, I said, no, give me the people behind the brand, the people that I can ask the technical question, because I want to be able to take Martingal in a room full of VPs as I'm teaching about whiskey and say, hey, you need to look up Andrew Ware and Guillaume. These people know the industry. They are not, this is not a project for them. This is what they do for a living. They've done it, combined over 50 years. and they know what they're so as I'm giving you technicality of what's happening, it just so happened that we also have an amazing celebrity behind
And
the
that's exactly
brand.
the point.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's me because I wanted to talk to y'all specifically. I think their approach bring a plus one to the thing. But people that follow me are people that work in the industry, educators in the industry, and I want them to go and run and grab this bottle next time they're talking about cognac to make Martingal the bottle of choice for people to actually go. Make sure you choose this one. You know, people that work in the bar industry, make sure you grab this and put it on your bar. When someone come and say, "Give me an amazing cognac," pull this bottle out and pour this to them because that's what start changing the consumers right idea. One is behind the bar at a hotel, one is in a room where people are decision makers. That's what I love to see. If it just so happened that a celebrity is also behind it, that give us a +2 and +3.
I think that's exactly the point, though. And I think if Donnie and Dee were here, they would say exactly what you just said. You know, this is not a celebrity brand. And I've worked on a lot of celebrity campaigns and activities. I think I was doing it wrong the whole time. When you pay them, you know, it's difficult to get them to do anything. When they pay you, they're like, what can you do? I've been doing this wrong for years. But both Dee and Donnie, you know, I think this shows you that they are very smart,
Correct,
very driven businessmen. You know,
Correct.
this is when they wear their business hats. This is not them, you know, being celebrity. They understand the power of their following and who they have influence with.
Correct.
But I think it, you know, Dee tells this great story about, you know, when his uncle bought him his first suit and his first bottle of cognac when his record sold a certain amount of records in the 90s. And it was a really meaningful moment for him. And now he's an owner of a cognac. So he doesn't see himself as an ambassador or a spokesman. He's one of our owners. And to be honest with you, we report to him the same way we do all of our investors. And he's a serious business guy. And we're just delighted to have them on board. And they provide value in ways other than their influence. You know, we can ask them questions about certain things, and they've been really engaged. But first and foremost, this is a business decision for them. And this team, you know, the founder team, Guillaume obviously has a wealth of experience working at the second biggest wine and spirits company in the world in executive roles all over the world. My background is mostly in brand building, brand marketing for some of the bigger companies. And Amaury, you know, has an enology background. He was an agricultural engineer. He's been running the family operation for a good number of years. He was a president of the BNIC. So we bring quite a diverse range of skills to the table.
I love that. I love that diversity that you guys have in there. This is amazing. And for people that are asking, I'm displaying the website right underneath here. You can click on it. It will tell you immediately if you put your address in. Right now, for people that are looking, they're offering free shipping, right, on their website. If you use code Martingal for free shipping is there. I put in my address here in Nebraska, and they ship to Nebraska. So they're doing a good job on their online market. You don't necessarily have to go to a store. You can go immediately on martingalcognac.com and grab your bottle directly. Now, I will tell you this. On my market here, on my side here, 119. You may ask yourself, do I want to spend 119 on a bottle? I'm going to tell you this. This is the salesman in me coming out to tell you this. This is not a cognac that I would drink every day. This is a cognac I would serve to my guests because it's a conversational cognac. Somebody walk into my house and we want to sit down and talk after dinner or before dinner, either an aperitif or a digestif. I'm pulling this out. It's beautiful. So you want to have something in your carafe. You want to have something in your, on your desk, in your office to serve to your guests. Definitely worth $119 for you to have this. I know why there's no gimmick on this, because they didn't care about looking pretty. They cared about what was in the bottle itself. So there's no gimmick here. It's literally good cognac in a bottle, and that's it. So that was my sales pitch. They didn't have to sell you. I'm selling you on it right now. Now, Guillaume, the floor is now yours because I have to ask. You release this beautiful product. I love the design. I love the, what you put in the bottle. I need to know what's coming up. What is it that is coming up on the market? Is it going to be just Martingal, the regular cognac, or are we in the line to see more things coming? Or if it ain't, some people say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or do we now get to see more of a older appellation of it, or something different, or a castrin, or are you even offering maybe some special store to make their Martingale single cask cognac? What is coming up on the market?
So I think obviously we are very new we are very old in making cognac, very new to having our own brand and our own recipe and what we want to do. I want to establish Martingale as a brand with its own style and its expression. So the bottle is in itself very different and speaks to some of my family houses have inspired the design of the bottle. Particularly the M here is a window on the very old family house that we have that's inspired that.
Correct.
So the style of the bottle, but more importantly, the style of the cognac is something I want to establish. And I think because we are, I think, so unique and different and relevant, I don't want to pollute it with too many new releases and etc. I want to establish Martingale. That's a special cognac. That's a special style. Now, having said that, once we have done that and we have our hopefully our fan base. We would love to have a fan base of Martingale consumers and people who will support us. Once we have that, I will certainly want to express that specific Martingale style and vision, maybe at other price points and maybe with slightly different types of cognacs. We use the top 4 cru, so maybe we will want to speak a bit more about some of them. Maybe one day we go for older products as well and try and do something a bit more high-end. I don't think we'll go lower because I don't know that we would be able to differentiate and have that same level
I think you can just go up from here. I don't need you to go lower than this. This is a pretty high quality.
Yes,
like I was saying, Jake Seeger on YouTube here reviews a lot of cognac. So there's somebody, he's like, oh, it was $129 in my store. But the price point, I bought it for no age statement. Jake, you were not here at the beginning, but there is a reason why there's no age statement on it. So we would love to see a review. Jake is a friend of mine. He loves cognac. He's a cognac reviewer. I would love for him to actually review it to see what he thinks, because from my impression, for 40% ABV cognac, you guys are definitely punching above your weight. And I would love to see more people pick up this bottle and review it. I really want to know. I know the price point is probably going to be our biggest hurdle, because a lot of people are going to go, I don't know if I want to spend that. Knowing how cognac, typically, again, you're breaking a lot of stereotype. Knowing how cognac typically have played in the market, I will tell you right now, there is 2 or 3 celebrity cognac that sell at that price that don't taste like this. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just because I've tasted celebrity cognac that are over 100. No, that's say they're XO, and I did not feel like this. I did not feel like this product. So I would tell, by comparison, I think you guys are a good place, but I don't know what the average consumer opinion will be. But I know that's gonna be a lot on the U.S. market. Anything over $100, most people are like, I don't know.
I'd love to chat more on that, because I'm having flashbacks to 15 years ago when non-age statement whiskies first came out, and the kind of feedback that exists.
Oh yeah,
and it actually took a long time. So we're kind of in uncharted territory here in cognac, but not uncharted territory in other spirits. And I think it's going to take a bit of time, and we have to be patient. That people come to realize what goes into making a product like this, and the fact that it's been produced based on its flavor, and where Amaury believes it's at its apogee. It would be a disservice to call it a VSOP. We wouldn't legally be allowed to call it an XO. So as Guillaume talked about earlier, we're in this big wasteland where there's really nothing else at this age. And so I think we've been brave, but it also takes consumers to take a bit of a leap of faith. And pretty much everyone that we know that's made that leap has been, as you are, Jack, has been satisfied, and kind of their expectations have been over-delivered on.
Okay. I'm 100% I mean, you have a fan in me. I think it's an amazing product that you guys are putting out here. I cannot wait for more people to try it. I'm hoping there will be more Martingale events happening across the US so people can actually, I think at this point is liquid to lips so people truly
Yeah.
can taste this product and know the work that you put in to realize how different is it from the average cognac. You guys are walking now in the market with I think two brand are walking in at the same speed as you guys walked in the market right now. So the more people are tasting, the more I'm sure they are going to know what makes you different. Guillaume, I trust your family. From just tasting this, I'm trusting your family process to actually
Thank
give
you.
amazing things out. But honestly, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. I want to see how it's gonna happen. I'm hoping that a year from now we sit on this channel again. So we actually talk about how well you have done in the market and maybe hopefully what is coming up next on the market.
We would
I
love
can't
that.
wait to see what you guys are doing, are gonna do as market penetration in the US. One thing I'm gonna say is um, you hit the nail on the head. That's my personal opinion. You made a
Jack,
fan
when
out
we
of me.
arrive, I appreciate it. When we arrive in the state of Nebraska, we will come to the Dundee Dell and
Oh,
a
yeah, I
good.
know, I know. Is 10 minutes from my house. I know
I love
exactly
the
where the
Dundee
Dundee
Dell.
is.
It used to be the biggest selection of whiskey in the world, or
Yes,
US.
yes.
I will come to the Dundee Dell. We'll have some fish and chips, and we'll have a lovely big glass of Martingal.
You sir got yourself a date. I will meet you there. It is 5 minutes from my office and it's 10 minutes from my house. The Dundee Dell is definitely the place. If you're breaking on the U.S. market, I will make sure everybody comes in so they can try this cognac because I think a few people will be quite surprised by what's happening with this cognac, guys. I want to thank you so much for taking your time and coming
Thank you
on
very
today
much.
and chatting with me. It was a pleasure having you guys on. Martingale Cognac, I'm telling everyone here, this is the bottle. I'm going to show it off again on the brand. If you are walking now, make sure you check out the website. They are on Instagram, Facebook, and make sure you just go follow them. I think they do a good enough job on social media. I want you to I'll be honest, you don't need to buy it right away, but go to your retailer and ask them to carry it. Make sure you stop at your bar and grab yourself a pour because I'm telling you, it takes only one sip for you to actually start rethinking, your budget immediately. So,
Thank you.
Guillaume, Andrew, any last word for your consumers out there, for your fan out there, for your supporter out there? Any last word? Something that I did not ask in the interview that you want them to know?
Oh, I would say, Martingale, you asked, it's your first question, so I will finish up on that if that's okay, Jack. Thank you very much again. It was great chatting with you, and thank you for the kind words you had for me and my family. I will finish on everybody finding their Martingale in life. It's an inspiration. We are only doing spirits and cognac. But what we try to do is bring some satisfaction and some excitement to consumers and finding their Martingale. So spiritually and spirits wise, it's our cognac, and spiritually is finding your Martingale in life. So all the best to everyone to find their Martingale.
Yeah, and I would just say one of the things that inspired me most about this story was Guillaume's grandfather saying to him shortly before he died 7 years ago, I never got to do this. We did lots of things in this family, but I never got around to creating a brand of our own. And so I think it's a beautiful thing and it's an inspiring thing that Guillaume is kind of delivering on a family dream, Guillaume and Amaury. And, this is a family brand. We're all, I came here to this country with a couple of suitcases and a dream. And now this is my family's legacy in part. It's everyone who works for us is a shareholder. So we're all building our own legacies with this, and I get nothing but pride when I look at the bottle and when we hear feedback from you. It means the world to hear what you're saying about Martingale, Jack, and we're all just trying to deliver on a dream here, our own, and also Guillaume's grandfather's. So thank you for your support and thank you for having us on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for
Cheers.
coming in, and cheers to everyone.